But are the never bring it out of the ground Bernie Sanders wing of this protest, are they ever going to be satisfied? Because they really just want to put a stop to fossil fuels.
Yeah, listen, we know who's driving the train, the radical environmentalists. And when you're talking about the fact that a lot of this is going to be transported via rails, which is way more dangerous than what's being proposed, I would go with the less dangerous proposal. And the fact that it's going to be, what, 90 feet or even more underneath the river, I believe we have the best engineers and technology to do that in a safe manner. But the fact that it is about 1.5 miles from the entrance of the Native American land and property, I don't think it's inappropriate to look at moving it somewhat.
Well, the Army Corps engineer, Scott, at Steger McDowell, issued an environmental assessment during the summer that said no significant impact after doing exhaustive work on it. But to that point, in terms of energy policy, why in creation would Donald Trump meet with Al Gore?
Yeah, I'm kind of scratching my...
You know, he went... it was you know, he did the walk down the runway like all the beauty pageant contestants do, so it wasn't in secret.
No, here's the beauty of it, Dagan. He's meeting outside the box with everybody. He's thinking outside the box. He's probably picking his brain in kind of a whole host of areas. The fact that he's meeting with the head of ExxonMobil as a potential Secretary of State choice. I mean, there's so many things in play right now. I think ultimately he's probably gathering information. One thing I've noticed about him is that he's like a sponge. He likes to take information from various sources to kind of get an indication of where he's going with that. But I wouldn't put too much stock into it. I don't think Al Gore is going to be named Secretary of Energy or anything like that, so don't worry about it.
What does that say? Gore also met with Trump's daughter, Ivanka. What does this say about the role that she's going to play in administration on environment and climate issues?
Well, that's a great family. I have great respect for the kids especially. And not only is the First Lady going to take on something, I believe bullying, which is something that I care very much about, but the Trump kids, listen, they're smart, they're dynamic, and they're going to play a role as much as they can while running the business and not, you know, crossing that line, that imaginary line that's there. So I'm excited to see what kind of issues they take up because they have that bully pulpit and can do a lot of good things for a lot of needy people right now. Look,
we got to talk about Joe Biden, but first let's talk about you. Have you had more meetings on the Secretary of Veterans Affairs position?
No more meetings, but I know I'm in the mix, and it's happening in the ordinary course. And listen, I'm honored just to be considered. And he needs to get his Secretary of State picked down first. That is, I think, the most critical, not necessarily the most important, but the most critical piece to the puzzle. And then you see, Maria, veterans are dying. So whether it's me or somebody else, their first priority is to make sure that stops.
Well, if you're in the job, you'll be happy, and so will Elizabeth Warren. Were you surprised at that? Were you surprised at her endorsing you for that position yesterday? I saw your tweet.
I was, and she actually called me, and we had a good 15-minute conversation. Listen, we've been trying to kind of thaw things out, and I'm a better person than the kind of nipping and, you know, snipping at each other, and I know that she is too, and we kind of want to move past that. And I want to thank Bob Wolf, too, who's on our show, and he's a friend of mine, he's a friend of yours, you know, saying that he's very supportive, too. It means a lot.
Yeah, they want you to be Secretary of Veterans Affairs.
I think they want to make sure I don't sleep for about 4 years, okay?
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren saying she would support Scott Brown as Secretary of VA, Dagan.
It's all about the love.
Or not. All right, what about Vice President Joe Biden? So he says he's not ruling out a 2020 presidential run.
Oh, brother.
Do you see this as a serious possibility? What's everybody's take? So you go first, Scott.
Just go away, Joe, okay? Just go away. That's my take.
But I mean,
that's my take.
Well, President Obama must be regretting that he didn't push him forward instead of Hillary Clinton.
I wonder.
Definitely, but so he would be 78 when he would be inaugurated.
A fresh, young 78-year-old running for president.
And when I said no,
fresh, yeah, you got that right. He'll be fresh.
But when Scott said just go away, I said no because what I was going to say is, given what he has started to do in terms of cancer research, and given his personal experience, he has something to bring to the private sector.
Yeah.
And in terms of outside of
that
other
moonshot
platform,
opportunity, that was impressive.
Raising money, when, you know, he's always been criticized for not being able to raise political funds for campaigns, that he's not good at it. But what about raising money for cancer research and then working with those people in the government and the National Institutes of Health? I mean, what a liaison he could be potentially.
Well, that makes a lot of sense, Dagan. I mean, obviously, listen, all kidding aside, I like the vice president. I know him very well. I've had some very interesting dealings with him, to say the least. That being said, he does have some very personal experiences with cancer, and when it's that personal, you can really get behind something like working with NIH and the American Cancer Society and many other groups to really attack that deadly disease.
So the
listen,
reporter,
I support that.
The reporter yesterday said, what are you going to run for? And he said, for president. I'm going to run for president. And then the reporter came back and said, we're going to go with that. Do you want to confirm? You just said you're going to run for president in 2020. I mean, they didn't believe him initially, but he said it a couple times.
Yeah, well, good luck with that. Let's get through this presidency first and see where we are, okay?
We'll see about that. Senator, good to see you.
Good to see you guys.
Thanks so much. Scott Brown joining us there. Be sure to